Hello fellow wanderers and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ian, I'm known as WanderBeard around these parts, and in today's video we're going to be exploring the mining town of Santa Rosalia here in Baja, Mexico. In this episode we're going to go explore some of the mining history of this town, which dates back more than 150 years. We're also going to check out a couple of very unique locations here in the town that are unlike anywhere else in the world, one of which has a tie back to the Eiffel Tower. And lastly, I'm also going to give you my recommendation for the best place to stay if you come to Santa Rosalia. So, let's get going. Good afternoon from Santa Rosalia. I have arrived from San Ignacio, where I spent the last 2 days and had a really lovely time in that small town. And I'm now here for 2 days as well. And I'm staying at the Hotel Del Real. I'll show you over here where it is. I'm right on the square here at the moment. So there's the hotel I'm staying in, Hotel Del Real. This little square is pretty cute and it's got lots of nice spots here with some shade in them. So there's even like little chairs and stuff here. It's a nice little park. This town has a lot of mining history. I haven't dug into it too much yet, but walking over from the bus terminal I saw some old mining shafts you can actually go inside and check out. And there's an old model train here set up at the entrance to the town and some other things. So yeah, I'm looking forward to exploring all of that in the next couple days. Heading into a place here called Turco's Outtro. Menu looks good, lots of choices, and let's go give it a try. What is this? Good morning and welcome to Santa Rosalia. I have arrived here after a short bus trip yesterday and spent the evening last night staying out of the heat because this town is hot. Santa Rosalia was founded in 1884 by the French mining company Boleo, as they had discovered a supply of copper here back then. And so the town has a lot of history around the mining community. And most of the mines that were built at the time still exist today, mostly now for tourist purposes. However, recently a Canadian mining company has decided to try and reopen the mines here to extract more of the copper. As we walk through today, you'll notice that the town has a lot of French colonial style buildings, which makes sense given that it was founded by a French mining company. We're going to take a little walk up now to a couple of key spots before taking a walk through one of the mines. It's one of the old trains here, so when you first come into town, you'll see there's a big Santa Rosalia sign here and one of the trains with the Boleo company name on it. I showed this park briefly last night as well before I went to dinner. So in 2017, this park, Park Morelos, went under a renovation. And yeah, it's a great little spot now. There's lots of trees here, a place to sit in the shade to get out of the heat. So the first place we're going to head up to is a church, but the church is more famous for its creator than anything else. It's just up the street here, a couple of blocks. So this is the Iglesia Santa Barbara Church, which was built in 1887. Your initial thought was, oh, it's just a church. What's the big deal? But this church was actually designed by Gustave Eiffel in 1884, famed designer of the Eiffel Tower. So this church was actually shown at the Exposition in Paris, France in 1889. And then afterwards was moved to Brussels, and then at which time it was acquired by the Boleo mining company, who then deconstructed it and brought it all the way over to Santa Rosalia and had it built here back in 1897. This church actually sat next to the Eiffel Tower in Paris until it was taken down and rebuilt here. This church is actually made of steel and is one of the most symbolic buildings of Santa Rosalia. The church is attributed to the designer Gustave Eiffel, exhibited at the World's Fair in Paris in 1889 and was awarded first prize together with the Eiffel Tower. Let's go inside and take a look. So you can actually see that one of the unique aspects of this building is that the roof and ceilings and building itself was built out of steel and essentially came prefabricated when they took it down and brought it back here. So again, you can definitely see a French influence in the area. Very different from pretty well everywhere else that I've been in Mexico so far. So our next stop was one that I only found, just kind of stumbled across it last night, which kind of caught me by surprise a little bit. So let's go see if we can head over to that now. So this is the Mahatma Gandhi Public Library, which totally threw me for a loop last night when I first saw it. So yes, you are reading this correct. That is the Mahatma Gandhi Public Library here in Santa Rosalia, Mexico. I couldn't find a lot of information online about how it became the Mahatma Gandhi Library, but I thought it was kind of unusual, I think, for the area. Not what I would have guessed. Let's see if we can take a little walk inside and have a quick look. So it's an old wood building with arched ceilings and no information about how it became the Mahatma Gandhi Library. So who knows? It's a mystery, I suppose. We'll walk upstairs. Again, one of those weird things about Santa Rosalia. We've got a church made by Gustave Eiffel, and we have a library dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi. So I'm just taking a minute here to sit in the park and get some fresh air without sitting in the sun, because it's really hot. It's currently just about 11 a.m. and it's already 36 degrees, still warm, but it's okay. I get lots of water and just taking breaks, and that library had some wonderful air conditioning inside, so I chilled there for a little bit. This is a really pretty little town. It's clear that they've made a lot of effort here to maintain the history with the previous mining town that was here. So as I mentioned earlier, the town was founded in 1884 by a French mining company, and they maintained the town. They built the homes, they built the copper mine, everything that was here. They imported that church that's here as well from Gustave Eiffel, and they maintained the town until 1954 when the copper mine was finally closed. One of the things we're going to go check out next is that they actually have some of the old mine shafts still open here for public display. They're right on the side of the main road. I believe there's 3 or 4, and they're all interconnected with different pieces of the history. So we're going to go over take a look at that, and then there's also the museum here as well, which features a bit more of the history of the town and the mine and so forth. So let's take a wander over there and see what we can find. So here's the first of the 4 mine shafts. Santa Agueda is the first one, but that one's closed. So let's go have a look. The other ones over here are open. San Luciano.
Hola.
Hola, buenos días.
¿Independiente particular? ¿Solo?
Solo.
Ah, ok, no grupo.
No, no.
Ah, ok.
Solo. Yo soy de Canadá. So.
Ah, Canadá. Oh.
Sí, sí, sí.
¿English?
Sí,
Abajo.
perfecto.
Ajá.
Sí. Sí, aquí
Sí, aquí.
Ok, un momento.
Sí, no hay
Ya.
problema.
Ok, gracias.
Un poco de calor. Algo calor.
No poco.
Canadá no.
Sí, pero en Canadá es muy calor también.
Ah, sí?
Sí, sí.
Oh.
30, 32. So this is one of the actual mine shafts that were used for the copper mines. I'll take a walk down to the back here. So this is an example of one of the winches that was used to haul the copper up out of the ground. One of the mining carts there as well. Some of the very basic tools that were used. Shovels, picks, you know. It's interesting because coming from an area where there was a lot of mines over the years and, you know, large industry was built up from the mines in Cape Breton. It's, you know, very similar here, I think, in many ways, in terms of how the initial mines were dug and how the ore was extracted and the risks that were involved, you know, very similar. So here's an example of one of the miners that was hired. They often hired local native Yaqui and other Indians from the different tribes because they were heat resistant and they came from the deserts, so they were already used to the extreme heat of the area. Most of the miners would only ever wear zapatas or taparobos, which were essentially cloth diapers. And that way they could extract the ore without getting too hot. So it's pretty dark in here, but here's an example of one of the mining towns that was sprung up by the Boleo mining company to help extract the ore from the area at the time. There were actually 5 mining towns in total, each with about 1,000 to 3,000 people. The towns included Providencia, Purgatorio, which is a great name, Soledad, Santa Martha, and San Luciano. Here's an early shot of the church that we saw there earlier. So Santa Rosalia has a celebration every December the 4th for Santa Barbara, which is a patron saint here, and is the name of the church as well. Here's an older picture of the church. You can see with the train tracks directly in front. I mentioned that one of the towns was Purgatorio, and here's a picture of it here. So it was about 10 kilometers northwest of Santa Rosalia and had a population of about 2,100 people. It lasted until about 1940, in which time it was shut down. So there's 4 entrances here in total. They all kind of interconnect inside. But yeah, each one's named after one of the original mining towns, which is kind of cool. Ah, okay. Hola, secreto.
Más fotos.
Ah,
Piedras.
it's one of the original locomotives. So here's an example of some of the minerals that were extracted here during the exploration for copper here in Santa Rosalia. There's a bunch of different stuff here. But there were, you know, a lot of different minerals here. It wasn't just copper that they discovered. I mean, that was primarily the reason why they were here, but there was certainly other ones as well. And here's an example here of what they were digging through to get to the various minerals by hand with pick and shovel. So if you come to Santa Rosalia, I do recommend checking out this little mining museum. It's pretty cool, actually. Lots of information here, both in English and Spanish. Lots of photos. And yeah, it's 30 pesos to get in for an adult, so that's like $2. And I think kids were 15 pesos, so $1. And yeah, lots of great information here. You know, obviously for a town that was built and survived by the copper mines here for many decades, it became an important part of the history here as well. So even after the mining company left in the 1940s, the train system actually remained until the 70s. The trains would run through the middle of town to, you know, pull wagons or merchandise and provisions and those types of things as needed. One additional note about the old church is that it was actually brought over by sailboat from Brussels, Belgium to Santa Rosalia in 1895. And it took them 2 years to reassemble the church and have it open to the public. I I wanted to give you a quick room review here at the Hotel del Real in Santa Rosalia. This place was 700 pesos a night for a single person, and so I'm staying here for 2 nights. I'll open this curtain up a little bit. So it's a good queen size, king size bed. I can never tell the difference. Very comfortable, had a good sleep last night. Great pillows, like fantastic, probably the best pillows I've had my entire trip. A little charging station over there with a lamp, which is nice. Very cold. Air conditioner up on the wall. Over here we have just a normal place to put your clothes, hang some clothes. There's a little workstation desk here with a mirror and TV mounted on the wall. Wi-Fi is really good here. They had 4 or 5 different connections, so I kind of just found the one that works the best and went with that. So in here is the bathroom, and again, so the usual standard bathroom setup, of course. And had a really good shower here, nice hot shower this morning. Was good from that. Good, nice towels. So overall, a nice spot. I was pleasantly surprised by the location. So I knew it was in the downtown area, but I mean, it's right on the town square, so it's perfect. Prime location, close to everything. There's restaurants all around. The mining museum is very nearby. Church, if you want to go check that out, is about 3 blocks away. So everything's really close together. I would recommend these guys. They do not have much of an internet presence, however. So I actually did have to call them directly on the phone with my broken Spanish. I don't get the impression it's sold out. So I think even if you showed up into town without a reservation and tried to get here for a night or 2, I don't think it'd be a huge problem. So thumbs up to the Hotel del Real here in Santa Rosalia. Really impressed. Nice spot, affordable, and close to everything. So I thought that since it's rather warm outside, I thought I'd go check something out indoors that should have some good air conditioning. And that is the Boleo Mining Company Museum, which is just about 3 minutes from here. So let's head there now. Google Maps recommended this really sketchy set of steps to get a shortcut up to the museum. Let's see if I can get up here without killing myself. And since I didn't die, let's head up to the museum, which is right there. I think it's closed. Cerrado. Aquel. Oh, okay. So, good news as I get in. They were very nice to let me in the front door as I stood there looking very sad by myself. So that was great. So here we are, we're inside the museum. There is no air conditioning, but at least there's a nice breeze. So they said to me you can follow the rooms around in order and get a sense of all the different items in their collection here. And out here is an absolutely beautiful view of the town. Even nicer than that last one I just shot. Down there's the town square and my hotel. We are heading down the coast here tomorrow. There's an old telephone transfer box. So in this room is a temporary exhibition of some of the athletes from the area. The mining company El Boleo used to have a lot of sport activities for the miners. Things like baseball and basketball and boxing. Some of the players from here actually ended up in the Major League Baseball. For example, Vicente Huevo Romo with the Dodgers. and Enrique Romo with the Pirates. Lots of players from here, of course, made to the Mexican baseball leagues as well over the years. So this was one of the main offices for the Boleo mining company. You can see they have a desk here for meetings and a small library and a big office desk here. Some more samples. We saw samples there at the mine earlier, but there's some more samples there. It's a beautiful old wooden building up here on the top of the hill. There's a map here of the Gulf of California, the western shore, showing Conception Bay and further south. It was originally based on naval surveys from 1873 and 1875, and then additions in 1942. And there you can see is Rosalia, which is almost rubbed off because it's been touched a bunch of times. But here's actually one of the first refined bars of copper that was found here, and has the company name Boleo stamped on the top of it. Here's some of the pictures and things that we saw earlier from some of the mines and some of the equipment. It's the first ever phone that was used in the company back in the 19th century. A big scale that would have been used for weighing the copper. And some more odds and ends of equipment. Lighting equipment, sensors, temperature gauges, current measurements. So obviously with copper, one of the things you're looking for is good current. Using it for copper wire and other forms of transmission. And yeah, so the copper that came out of here was very high quality and was used for many, many years, making transmission lines, telephone lines, all those sorts of things. Some different kinds of wrenches and stuff that were used as well. It's really impressive that they've been able to maintain so much of the original equipment here for this museum. And this place has that smell. So if you've ever been in an old building that's from like the 1800s, this place has that woody, old smell, which I kind of love. It's got the old floorboards still. I would say that, 95% of this building is probably the original. There's actually a whole other level upstairs as well, but I think that's closed to the public. But yeah, what a beautiful building. What secrets must lie up these stairs? So that's just a brief tour of the Boleo Museum here at the top of the hill in Santa Rosalia. Nice spot, very historical, lots of interesting things here to see. And even just walking around the building, you get a sense of just how, grandiose it must have been back in the day. The entrance fee was 30 pesos. They give you a little receipt for it if you need that, little ticket. And yeah, you're free to kind of wander around. I think it's open most days of the week. There was no posted hours, and when I got here, the front gate was closed, but they saw me and took pity on me maybe and let me in anyway. So this is my one full day in Santa Rosalia. I'm actually heading on the bus tomorrow around midday. I'm heading down to my next destination, which is a town called Mulegé, which is about an hour-ish south of here along the Gulf of California as well. And I'll be in Mulegé for about a week. Decided to crash there for a week or so just to relax and take a few days off from traveling around from place to place. There's another one of the trains parked up here at the top of the hill as well. Here's a map of the town of Santa Rosalia for reference, and the pink number 1 here is where we're standing at the moment. And you can see the various markings for hotels, sites of interest, services.
Cuando baja el sol, me acuerdo de ti. Aquella noche triste cuando yo te pedí. Cuando baja el sol, me acuerdo de ti. aquella noche triste cuando yo te perdí.
Well, that'll do it from Santa Rosalia. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe. Maybe drop a like below or a comment to let me know that you were here. If you'd like to support me further, there's a couple of links in the description below on how you can do that. And remember, life is short. Wander. I'll see you in the next video.